I just woke up from my nap, and my mind is just still racing. Like, let me just be honest, my mind has been racing for the last couple of days. So I thought that I'd come out here on my porch and get some fresh air. And I felt like it would be a good time to say my piece. Lately, since everything's been going on, it just does not feel right uploading my regular teacher content until I speak out and until I say something. Racism has been going on for the longest, and the fact that some people are just now seeing it baffles me. And the fact that some people see it but don't care baffles me. But it has been going on for so long, you guys. And the fact that I have to try to help individuals understand why Black lives should matter. Like, why am I trying to get individuals to understand why Black lives should matter? And if I say Black lives matter, someone always counters it with all lives matter. And it's ridiculous. But I got something for you guys. There's this Black educator. Her name is Kia. She explains it very well why you should not say all lives matter. Her Instagram page is named teacherish_. I will leave her information down below in my description box. But she explains it great. And honestly, she explains it better than I can, because if I would have explained it, I wouldn't have been so kind. Like, my mind is still everywhere, and right now I don't feel like having no kumbaya moment. I just don't feel like having no kumbaya moment. You know, I've dealt with racism like throughout high school, right? I've heard the insensitive comments, you know, throughout college, my student teaching experience, oh boy. And even like in my teaching career, and I've learned how to deal with it. And that's sad that that's coming out my mouth, that I had to learn basically how to just live with racism and how to deal with it. No one should be saying that. I can't even believe that's coming out my mouth right now. I had to learn how to deal and live with racism, because it's a lot. It's so much. So when I asked myself, I said, well, Brittany, what can you do to end this cycle of racism? Because it just keeps coming. It just keeps coming. It is not stopping. I mean, I know I cannot save the whole world. So I told myself, you have to focus on your field. And my field is education. I'm probably going to step on a few toes. I'm probably going to ruffle a few feathers. But our education system in this country is a hot mess. And the first thing I would do is stop teaching fake history. And that's just the truth, you guys. I remember I was in student teaching and I had to teach a Thanksgiving lesson. Well, my clinical supervisor was like, oh, just talk about the Wampanoag Indians and basically how they were friends with the Pilgrims, and they just came together, had a kumbaya moment, and happy Thanksgiving. And in my mind, I'm like, you're not going to tell these kids that the Native Americans had their land stolen and were killed? Are you not going to tell them that this was not really a kumbaya moment? And no, they didn't. And that is not fair. Like, you should not be able to pick and choose what part of history you want to teach the students. And some will probably say that, oh, they won't understand it. They will understand it, especially my first graders, because they're very smart. You may have to explain it to them in a different way, but trust me, they will understand it. Going on, when I think about it, in high school, they drilled the Holocaust in us, you know, which was very sad time, you guys. Yes, very sad time. But I cannot remember them discussing black history as much as they discussed the Holocaust. Honestly, I really can't, you know, remember them discussing black history at all. And when they did discuss it, they censored the heck out of it. Luckily, growing up, my father would always make me watch Roots. He wanted me to be aware. And if you do not know what Roots is an old television show. Basically, it displays the different stages of slavery. It shows us being stolen from Africa and us being on a boat and them bringing us over to America. It really gets deep in this television show Roots. They show us being beaten, whipped, thrown overboard, raped, foot cut off, you name it. But I'm glad that I grew up watching that, because I was aware of my history. And no matter what the school system censored, I was aware. So now that we talked about curriculum, let's go ahead and move on to, let's see, segregation. And you're probably wondering why I want to talk about segregation. Because you're probably thinking that segregation is over, right? You're probably thinking that, oh, it happened back then. Well, sorry to inform you, newsflash, segregation is still going on. See, back then, it was, you know, all blacks at one school, all whites at one school. Well, it's kind of like that today, because a student attends a certain school based on their neighborhood, their living location, basically. And if you have African Americans in a low income area, they're going to go to the same school. What do you call that? That is modern day segregation. They just found a sneaky way to do it. So segregation's basically still going on. Then you all need to watch this film. I'll link it down below in the description box as well, along with other resources. But this documentary on Netflix is called Teach Us All, and it goes to schools in California and New York. Well, let's talk about the schools in New York City right now. New York City is the most diverse city. Okay? Do your research. It's the most diverse city. My husband, he's from New York City. He's from the Bronx. It's the most diverse city. But the most segregated city. Okay? By the way, the film came out in 2017. Okay? So, light has been on this subject. Light has been on this subject. But some people just fail to listen. Some people fail to pay attention. But, anywho, but a school in New York admitted that when they receive more white students, then they receive more funds for their school. I don't think you all heard me. And in case you all don't want to go back in the video, I'm going to just go ahead and repeat it again for you guys. A school in New York, the Bronx actually, admitted that when they receive more white students, then they receive more funds for their school. So basically, they're picking and choosing which schools they want to send their funds to. And let's be honest, if you do not have the right amount of resources for your students, they don't have the same opportunity as other students. Let that sink in. And while you're letting that sink in, I'm going to go ahead and move to my final topic, which is behavior. And you're probably wondering why I'm even like discussing behavior. But if you're a teacher, I challenge you to research your school's behavior data, because I guarantee you it will show that a African American student has been expelled and suspended at least 3 times more than a white student. At least. And if you don't believe me, it's cool, because I told you I'm going to put some resources down in this description box for you all. And I will also throw some statistics on the screen for you guys. But if that is the case in your school, I challenge you to figure out how you are going to fix it, because it starts with us as educators. That's it for this video. That was my talk. I hope you all enjoyed the video, but most importantly, I hope you all learned something from the video. I hope I was able to inform you on this topic. And I will see you in my next video.